Is Jada Pinkett Smith a narcissist? Or is there something spiritually behind the reason why she's acting the way that she's acting? We are going to dive into this in this video. First, I need you to subscribe to the channel as well as like and share the video. So as we know, Will and Jada has been in the news for quite some time now, and it doesn't seem to stop. You know, they every couple of months or so, she's saying something or doing something that's just straight odd. So I wanted to break this down in the video today. We do know about the relationship that Jada had with August Alsina, and basically cheats on Will Smith and sleeps with another man. But it's interesting how she ends up talking about this openly as if it's no big deal, right? You know, many of us have been cheated on in the past. I know I have, and specifically was in a relationship with a narcissist myself, so I understand how they operate, right? But I've never been interviewed by the narcissist and the cheater, so I'm not really sure what her purpose was with this, besides to humiliate Will. Let's take a look at this video.
You and I were going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And we decided...
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
Marriages have that, though. Marriages have that.
Yeah, we basically, we broke up.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, you know, I think from there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship, absolutely. I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good. And it was really a joy to just help heal somebody.
I'm sorry, it's not funny. It's actually really sad. But what I was laughing at was the fact that, are you really interviewing him right now? And not only that, it's like, you cheated on your husband. You are an adulterer. That's what you're labeled as in the Bible, because the Bible clearly says thou shalt not commit adultery, right? You cheat on your husband who you made vows to. Then you want to sit there and say that, you know, your marriage was rocky, you're going through things, and this was the point of the separation. Okay, fine. Separating doesn't give you the right to sleep with another man or another woman. Because I think whatever, won't get into that. So anyway, it doesn't give you the right to do that, right? So my thing is, why do you feel justified in sleeping with another man? And then you don't even want to say you cheated. You're going to say it was an entanglement. What is an entanglement? I remember when this first happened, all throughout the internet, it was like, no, I was in an entanglement. I didn't cheat on this person, because they were obviously making fun of this whole story. But I'm like, ma'am, are you kidding me right now? Did you really just say that you were in an entanglement? You cheated on your husband. That's what you did. And then you try to make light of the situation. Then you tried to put him down. Well, you didn't try. You put him down even more by saying, it's been a long time since I felt good. Really? You couldn't communicate that to him? You had to cheat on him, sleep with another boy, ruin the other boy's life. Because now August Alsina is a homosexual, which I don't know if he was in the first place or just bi in the first place. I don't know. I do know that the Smiths were always some swingers and they like to try new things. So I already knew that decade ago. I knew about that stuff when I was younger, that they like to do stuff like that. Probably her idea to spice up the marriage because, like she said, she hasn't felt good in a long time. So why wouldn't you go and sit down with your husband and talk that out with him instead of inviting other people to your marriage? That sounds a little demonic to me, don't you think? I think that's a little weird. It sounds like you don't love your husband, at all. And he's sitting at the table looking like he wants to cry. That's why all those memes started with him crying. And they're not funny, because now I'm wondering how Will Smith's mental health is being in this relationship. Now, like I said, I've been in a relationship with a narcissist, not 23 years though. I got out less than 3. So, you know, and that's bad enough. Being in a relationship with a narcissist for a year is too much, let alone 23 years. So you can imagine his mental state. And I'm just really wondering how he's really doing over there, because I believe that he is suffering. And one thing I wanted to mention is that narcissists always make light of a situation. They will cheat on you, they can beat you up, they can steal from you, do any wicked thing to you, and then treat it as no big deal. Like, oh, no, I didn't cheat. I had an entanglement. It wasn't cheating though. Or I didn't steal that, I just borrowed it. Like it wasn't theft. They like to do that a lot, actually. They don't take accountability for anything, and they like to blame shift a lot and gaslight. So I can imagine what goes on in that house. Well, they're not living together, but I guess when they were, I don't even know what's going on with them in full detail. But it's just sad that another individual was brought into the middle of it. And he's a young dude too, compared to Jada. Like, how old are you, lady? Why are you messing with a young dude like that, manipulating him? So all of this manipulating that she's doing, and not taking accountability. The world calls it narcissism, but in the spiritual realm, it's called Jezebel. So in the beginning, when I said, is she a narcissist or is it something deeper? Well, it's both. She is a narcissist, and she also is a Jezebel. Like, there's a Jezebel spirit that is overtaking that household. It's running her household, and Will is Ahab. If you ever read the stories about Jezebel and Ahab, one of the most wicked kings at that time, because he's letting his wife run him, and also she is heavy into idolatry. So she thinks it's okay to fornicate, bring other gods into the picture, and manipulate and control everything, just straight wicked. And this is what we're seeing right now with Jada. Now, you're probably wondering, well, does she do witchcraft? This is witchcraft. When you manipulate and control someone, that is a form of witchcraft. Now, as far as her practicing other things, I've watched videos where she's into New Age, basically. So I would say yes to answer that question about her being a witch. Most definitely. She's running that household. Will is like a dog with his tail caught between his legs, and he just sits there. And I really, really pray that he gets out of that, because, what's interesting is, like, she has him so whipped that she just keeps embarrassing the dude repeatedly, over and over and over. And I'm really wondering how he's doing mentally, because it's just really sad. But I want you to take a look at this video, because she mentions basically that they haven't been together since 2016, but yet they're always together. I don't get it. Like, take a look at this clip.
Surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
The relationship fracture.
Oh, well, why a fracture? That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think by the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be.
Jada says she considered a legal divorce, but could never go through with it.
I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise.
But you still live separately.
We live separately.
So what's interesting about this is, like, totally, like, disregarding their whole relationship. Oh, well, we're not really together, we're separated. And then she writes this book, and this book is like all her dirty laundry and just a bunch of demonic stuff. And what's interesting is that she made a promise that she did not want a divorce, but live separate. Of course, narcissists don't want to divorce you because you're their supply. She needs Will as her supply, someone to control and manipulate. When you break free from that by getting a divorce, then they don't have anyone to control. That's the whole point of that. Of course, they really like to strap you in a marriage, because that's where they could further do their damage. See, when I was in a relationship with a narcissist, I didn't marry the person. So I'm very glad, even though with that, like, of course, you don't want to be fornicating either and having children with someone, right? But just hear me out. You don't want to marry a narcissist either, because they make it very difficult for you to get out of that marriage, is my point. And that's the case for her here. And they just love to control everything. She likes to control the whole entire narrative of everything. It's like she didn't want to get the divorce. She's the one that cheated, right? But then doesn't admit that she cheated. We're just going to call it something else. Then wants to say that she separated. And it's like, at this point, you can tell that this is spiritual. This is not even an earthly thing. This is not just a mean, bitter woman or anything that wants to hurt her husband. This is definitely a principality that's operating in her. And that's, like I said, it's Jezebel. And the crazy part is like, she's actually doing way too much that people who are not Christian or not, they don't have a lot of knowledge about the spiritual realm are picking up on what she's doing. Like, of course, the world calls it narcissism, but really a narcissist is Jezebel, and along with other demons. She's not the only one, only spirit operating, but she really does. You could tell in their relationship, she likes to have that control and manipulate him. She's lying to the camera about their relationship. Like, first you say that's your husband, then you say that's not your husband, and then you say, like, what is it? Fornication, because clearly you stepped outside your marriage multiple times. I believe, because I know it was rumored to be said that they had an open marriage, right? And I'm pretty sure it was her idea to have an open marriage, because like she said, she hasn't been happy in a long time. So hey, why not sleep with other men and, you know, go back to my husband whenever I need him? Like, she really just has him on standby. Like, you're right there. And she doesn't want to let him go because he's Will Smith. He has what he's built. He's been popping since the 90s, and he has a lot going on. I think that he would flourish more if he got away from her and accepted Christ, of course, which I'm praying that happens. But it's Will Smith. Like, she's not going to just leave him. No, she's going to mistreat him, do witchcraft on him, and keep him right there. That's what she wants to do. It's the same thing with Ahab. Like, couldn't stand up for himself, couldn't do stuff for himself, letting the wife do everything, or she just taking control and taking matters into her own hands. I just want to see, have you watched this video about the Oscars? Because when Will Smith got up to smack Chris Rock, I thought that was a little weird, because I'm like, why are we doing this? But just take a look at this video.
Tell it bothered you. You did an eye roll. Like,
Right. Yeah. And I did that eye roll, not so much for me. And I think this is really important, but the fact that there could be a jab at alopecia.
Will then went on a profane tirade warning Chris not to mention his wife's name. Jada couldn't believe what she was hearing.
What is going on? Now, first of all, I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. I'm like, what is going on right
keep
now?
my wife's name
out of your
Yes,
mouth,
yes,
right? And I'm
yes.
like, but now I'm really worried for Will because I don't know what's going on.
So then she had in this video, she mentioned like, oh, I was shocked because he said wife. Chick, aren't y'all married? I'm like, do you really want attention? Because she getting on my nerves. I'm sorry, guys. She's really getting on my nerves. Did you really just say that right now? You just said, I'm shocked because he said wife. We haven't called each other husband and wife in so long, but you're still married. Did you not just say 2 seconds ago that you didn't want to get a divorce? Now all of a sudden you're shocked that he said wife? And I can't stand the way she talks. She talks like a witch. Like, and just the way like she says things, she's manipulating people as she's talking, and I don't think people really catch that. Like, when you actually listen to her, she's manipulating you and playing mind games with you, with the interviewers and everything. That's exactly what she's doing, because that's what Jezebel does, play mind games. You're really messing him up mentally, because how you gonna sit there and say, I'm surprised he called me his wife? Did y'all get a divorce? No. Oh, but we've been separated. Doesn't matter. If you were sleeping around with other people, you're a fornicator, you're an adulterer. And then I saw some other clips on some other videos where she was like, well, I'm not this adulterous wife, you know. We agreed to be separate. You are an adulterer. Just like a Jezebel, just to like act like it's no big deal. Like, yeah, I slept around in my marriage. I'm not an adulterer. Really? According to the Bible, you're many things, but definitely an adulterer is one of them. And I just hate the fact that she's spinning all of this like Will is crazy, which he probably is, because he's been dealing with this for 23 years and whatever trauma that he had in his past before her. But it's really sad, because narcissists, that's what they will do. They will convince you that you're the crazy one. because the way that they manipulate you and spin things. Oh, I didn't know I was your wife. Meanwhile, you're sitting with him, you guys are always together in the public, you're probably still sleeping with him, you're probably calling him your husband in front of his face, but then you're going to turn around and in an interview say, I'm just shocked. What are you shocked about? This is not even funny. And then the crazy part is, like, they had clips of Will laughing at Chris Rock's joke until he saw her face. It was like that her evil eye was a cue that you better go do something. See, in witchcraft, you don't necessarily have to do spells on people with potions and all of that. That's another form of witchcraft. But you can manipulate someone so well that you give them a look and they'll go do what you want them to do. That's witchcraft. She operates in witchcraft. That's a witch. But her days are numbered, because at this point, it's like people, like I said, are catching on. And I'm just noticing, like, overall, this chick just wants attention so bad that she's even bringing up a dead man. Watch this video.
In which Willow states that she thought Tupac was the only one who could make her family happy. In the letter, Willow also stated that she knew Tupac was alive someplace and asked him to go back to them so that she and Jada could be happy. Now, I'm assuming that if Willow picked up on this, Will must have known the same thing for years, that he will never truly make Jada happy.
Then there's, like, she had a bunch of videos about how that was her first love, he proposed to her, and then so many people debunked it. That's another thing about narcissists. Like I said before, they are liars. They will lie about anything to just get attention. I'm telling you, my ex did the same thing. Just a straight liar. Will lie about anything to get attention. That's what they do. And the fact that you're bringing up a dead man and comments like, oh, I should have married him instead. She had a video as well that she never wanted to be married, and she was kind of forced to because she was already pregnant.
Much pressure, being a young actress, being young, and I was just like pregnant. I was just like, I didn't know what to do, but I just knew. I was like, I never wanted to be married.
Why are you saying that? Like, he forced you to marry him. He didn't force you. You could have said no. You could have walked away. But she's making him feel like dirt, and that's what they do. They will make you hate yourself. And they always want the attention. And it's like you give, and give. And I felt for Will when he said, you know what? You need to find what makes you happy, because I can't do that. I felt him in that, because a narcissist will suck you so dry that you have nothing left to give. And I feel like at this point, he feels like that. He's even said comments like that he can't make her happy. And at this point, I know God is not for divorce, but being with someone like that that's using witchcraft on you, you gotta go. Especially if they ain't trying to give their life to Christ. Like, you gotta go. Bye. Because it's either you're gonna be killed in the process, and killed mentally and spiritually, because you're gonna be so broken that it's hard. It's hard for you to find yourself again. But the only way that this will be possible is through the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And we really need to pray for Will. And I just find it so disgusting, like, at this point, like, she's bringing up Tupac, then posted a video of her and Tupac dancing to one of Will's songs. Like, bro, the man is dead. No offense, but he's been dead for over 20 years. Or close to 20 years. I was like 2 or 3 when he passed. Why are you bringing him up? And you've been married for 23 years. You was not with him, according to people that were there. He was married or engaged to other women, not you. Now all of a sudden, you was a prospect just because y'all did shows together. Ma'am, you have a whole husband at home and you have children. And you can imagine the torment that the children are going through. Look how weird they are. And that's no disrespect, but this is what happens when Jezebel runs a household. There's always promiscuity, there's always fornication, there's almost homosexuality when Jezebel is running a household. There's always witchcraft and manipulation and idol worship. Her kids, nobody in that house serve God. Nobody. Why? Jezebel don't want you to serve God. What did Jezebel want? What did she want in the Bible? To serve Baal. She wanted worship to Baal. Not Jesus. She's not a one God type of female. Look at her kids. Her kids are suffering. Imagine the mental torment that they go through. Imagine the amount of demons that are inside of them. All of them. Oh yeah, because they got demons. Absolutely. All that witchcraft going on opens the door to demons, and especially if they don't give their life to Christ, they're susceptible to it. Everybody in that household gets affected. And it's really sad, to be honest. It's really, really sad. And, you know, as Christians, pray for celebrities. Don't ever write off a celebrity and be like, oh, well, they sold their soul. First of all, God owns people's souls. People choose to follow Satan, but ultimately Satan he ain't create nobody. So that lie that Satan tells people, oh, you sold your soul because you wrote this contract, that's a lie from the pits of hell, because Jesus broke that when he died on the cross. So if any celebrity decided to give their life to Christ, oh, they're going to be with Christ. Point blank, period. That's it. So don't think of celebrities as lost cause. There's some that, like, they're questionable, like a Doja Cat. That, woo, she's far gone. That's not even her anymore. That's a different story. And I'm not saying don't pray for these people. Yes, people make choices, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you something. Jesus Christ is more powerful than the devil himself and any demons that be on his side. It don't matter. Remember, they will all be destroyed by God's breath. Like, did you not hear that? God's breath? That means like God could just, and then they're done. Like, so pray for these celebrities. I really do pray for Jada too, that she has an encounter with Jesus Christ, but Will really needs to break free because he's very miserable, and you can tell, like, his face is so exhausted. If you just look at him, it's so exhausted. His kids just look lost. They always, every time they show them, they just look spaced out, like they're just not here. And like, you can tell, like, using drugs and stuff. You can tell, like, it's kind of quite obvious. And like, even with Willow, like, the songs that they're just dark, you know. It's like, that's the witchcraft that the mom is bringing into that household, and whatever other doors that they're opening up from just sin. But she definitely runs that household. So I really pray. I pray for Will Smith. I pray for his family. I pray for Jada as well. And I pray that they all have an encounter with Jesus Christ so that they could be saved. Because I want nothing more than people to be saved. Yeah, I'll expose stuff. I'll talk about it. And I'll say, this is wicked. That's whatever. This is bad. Don't do this. But at the end of the day, I want everybody to be saved. I don't want nobody to go to hell. I don't wish hell on my worst enemy. And even, like, I'm talking about narcissists and stuff, and I'll do more videos on my experience and being in that relationship. I even pray for the person that I was in the relationship with that abused me. Like, that's what you should be doing. So do the same for the Smiths as well. Pray for them. Pray that they have an encounter with Jesus Christ and that they will be set free. I hope that this video blessed you. Until next time, God bless.